All right, so I decided I wanted to start doing a couple different types of videos, adding them to this. One is going to be like things that make us better at our jobs and or better men, period. And then one of them is going to be kind of funny things that I've run across in the industry that I think some of you guys may get a kick out of, and others will see what it is that maintenance guys actually have to deal with in some situations. First story I'll start with is a guy, we'll call him John. I hadn't been a maintenance supervisor very long, and I go to work at this property, and I've got this guy, John, who's been working there for probably a couple of years. And everybody liked John. John was a porter or a groundskeeper, whichever one you want to call him. And everybody just thought the world of John. John's wife would come through the property and see him, and John's wife was a very, very religious woman. He had a couple of kids, younger kids. He was probably in the average of about 55 to 60, and she was probably 25. So he felt pretty good that he had a young woman. So I've been working there a couple of weeks, and one day I noticed that John had a D that was carved into the stick that he used to pick up the grounds. And the stick that I'm talking about is a closet rod, and the D that I'm talking about is a male part. And he would go around, he had like 3 nails that he had nailed into the tip of it. So he would go around the property every day, and he would be picking up trash with this D on a stick. And I noticed it, and I said, "What are you doing?" And I mean, this thing had, like, he spent a lot of time and focus on the details on this D. And I was like, what are you doing? Why are you carrying something like that around? And he never really gave me a good answer. And so one day I caught it. He was gone, and I seen that he had left it in the shop, and I threw it away. And I thought, I told him he couldn't be doing that. But I was surprised. A couple days later, he made him a new D on the stick. And every time I would turn around and I would throw this D on the stick away, he would create another D on the stick, even better and greater and bigger than the one before that. And how it is that, this was 30 years ago, and things back then, people could get by with stuff that, they can't get by with today. But John was in a different level. And this is a guy, again, that was supposed to be a very religious guy. His wife thought the world of him. And anytime a woman's in love with a man, she thinks that he hung the moon, and she doesn't see his faults. So I finally get it to where there's no more D on a stick. And then one day, he starts telling me that when he sat on the toilet, that his testicles would hit the water. And I was a young man back then, probably 22, 23 years old. And I'm like, "You're crazy. There's no way." And he would always tell me about this stuff. And so one day I walk in the door, and he says, "Look," and he points down at his waist, and he pulls up his shirt, and he's got his testicles up above his belt so that you could see his testicles. And I got so upset with him. I think I wrote him up and ended up getting rid of him at that point. I was able to. But the deal to this story is that everybody thought that this was such a great guy, such a religious man, a great father. But in reality, what is a man that walks around with a D on a stick? And how can he take pride in that? What kind of a man that is? So you can't judge a book by its cover. Continue living the dream.